Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we're going to be testing on the test server a little bit the new fusion Skorid The Halfspawn, right? That's his name again, the Halfspawn? Yes, the Halfspawn. And I tested him in a few areas of the game. Maybe I overvalued him a little bit, but at the same time, I did not. So I'm going to leave it to you guys to let me know in the comments down below if you think I overhyped him or not, or if you think you should be doing him or not. I still believe he's somebody worth going for, especially because, well, I have a hope. I might be wrong, but I have a hope that they're gonna give us a path event or some sort of an event where we can get his awakening, right? If we can get him to a 4 or 5 star awakening, he's gonna be so much better. So I did test him in several areas, and I guess let's start and test him, for example, in Dragon 10 Hard, okay? I just threw him, I basically removed my Seer, for those of you that do not have Seer, but the gear might be, the gear is going to be strong as well. However, I did realize that he can hit pretty decent, right? He can hit pretty hard, not quite one-shotting a wave like Seer, but still he can bring a decent enough damage where he can help you. I mean, look at that. This is stage 10 hard, and these stages are actually pretty hard to kill because I don't know, for some reason the dragon waves are one of the hardest ones when it comes to the hard stages of the dungeons, okay? So they're hard to kill, and that's what, you saw that this one happened. However, I want you to keep in mind, like I mentioned, keep in mind the fact that we have a chance, I would say, maybe I'm wrong, I would say a pretty high chance that we're gonna get a path event so we can get an awakening, and that means that we can give him even more damage. Look at the damage that he does. We can give him even more damage through that because you're gonna gain more attack, you're gonna get more crit damage, you're also going to get obviously the Heaven Cast, Crushing Ren, whichever you believe will be the best one for you. If we're talking about using him in Hydra, you'll obviously not go for Crushing Ren unless you got a 6 star. You would go for Heaven Cast, or as an example, if you're gonna use him for his Hex debuff, you can give him the new Blessing that basically gives him more damage the more debuffs are out there. Unfortunately, we do not have an awakening for him to show, so this is all that I'm showing. However, you can see that we got past the wave in a pretty decent time, and now when it comes to the boss part, it's mostly up to Staltus and Battle Khazar to kill the boss because, with the poisons plus Mithrala, but it's a pretty decent time. 1 minute 30, 2 minutes maximum. I guess 1 minute 30 would be like an average, and we pretty much killed the boss. Obviously, the faster we die, the better on the boss part, and just like the poisons, but still, this is a pretty decent time. Then I even threw him in Ice Golem. This one might be a little bit tricky, but again, same principle. The cool thing is, because of the way that his kit works with Hex, is first of all, he can land Hex himself on this A3, and he's gonna do on waves 100% more damage if he lands all 5 hexes. That's where the big smack comes in. And then on the A2, if you bring somebody else with a hex, like for example I have Mithrala, which everybody should get after a while of playing Raid, like 9 months to maybe up to a year. If you do some Hydra consistently, you should get Mithrala. Then he will have this hit that's basic, again, an AoE if there's Hex out there. So this allows him to have good 2 good AoE hits for the waves. Obviously bringing Lydia, which again, you can get through Faction Wars. I believe the Lydia takes maybe around a year to get as well. If you want to see some advice on how you can get, on some teams, I guess, for Faction Wars, if you're free to play, check last year's free to play series. I basically have a video on every single Faction War team that I did, and I got Lydia in like 9 months. A few of them had some decent pulls, like I did have for Silver Watcher, as I did have Emic. However, even without Emic, there's a cheese strategy, but still, that's worth seeing. You can see 30 seconds past the wave. That's not too shabby, okay? The thing that I did though, once I got to the boss part, I stopped his AoEs. You do not want him AoE hitting. You want as few War Master procs as you can get on this boss, because, well, if you're gonna do AoE hits, if you proc War Master, you have a chance to proccing the boss's Retribution. And if that happens, obviously, there's a really high chance you're gonna die, because he's gonna ignore, with both adds up, he's gonna ignore 100% of your defense, okay? So do keep that in mind. However, you can see it's still pretty good. He's good for clearing your waves, and then once you get to the boss part, kind of same way in Dragon, you just have a couple of people that will deal with your, with the boss, which are supposed to be usually, whichever are your best HP burners, HP burn activators. I have, for example, Theodore and Artak. If you had somebody like a, what's his name, Walking Tomb Dram could be good. Then I think even Kaya could be okay, but she's, I guess she's more towards single target, so she might be tricky. But basically, Cronum, for example, is another good one. It's just about how fast can you do this boss part. And it seems like if everybody dies, I think Artak can pretty much do it on his own. Yep, that would be, I guess, the ideal thing. Get to the boss, die, and just let Artak solo it if you have this decent enough stats. HP, resist, speed, survivability, all of that cool stuff. But you can see, again, another area where he can do pretty good damage. I forgot to actually look at the damage that he did the previous one, but we can see over here 2.5 million damage. Obviously Artak did more because he did the damage on the boss part. You see this damage from Mithrala, well, that's also because she put Hex on the first wave, and that's, part of it is Skorid boosting the damage of Mithrala because of her Hex. Again, another cool area. One other thing that I'm gonna try and do, maybe once we're gonna have a spider tournament, is I want to see if there's a way. I was just testing some stuff. I want to see if there's a way where he can actually duo or trio the spider's den, because, well, if he does apply the Hex and he can hit pretty hard, if he comes back to it and he does it again, you can pretty much just two-shot the spiderlings, boss is dead, and move on with your day. But that's gonna be for another video. Then another area that I guess we can have a look at is, let's see how hard he hits in somewhere like Arena. Let me see if I'm gonna be fast enough. So let's see. I'm gonna show you the build at the end as well. I also tested him in Hydra, but I guess it might not be the most relatable because of what I brought, because of the build. However, the team that I brought alongside might make it pretty relatable. Okay, that might be some bad RNG. I think I'm dead. He gets a turn, I'm dead. But let's see. I mean, he almost, he almost one-shots. That was scary. That was scary. He almost one-shot the whole team, which is not too bad, considering we did not have decreased defense or weaken out there, okay? Keep that in mind. The only thing that we had was he does hit pretty good. We had no decreased defense, we had no weaken out there, he just had the, increased attack. But he also gives himself increased attack on day 2. Let's see, can we do something against YST? Let's lock them out, remove stuff, and then let's try again, slow it down. I mean, he does hit pretty hard. Obviously, is he gonna hit hard enough when we're talking about fully empowered max level champions for like top tier arena, like, the highest of gold for live arena or plat arena? No, he's not, because, well, that's you're not gonna be able to survive against the fully awakened +4s and all that. However, for a progressing account, you know what, he does some pretty good damage. I'm not it's not too shabby. Let's try against Yang. I'm quite sure I'm gonna lose. I might lose the speed race, but let's see how does he fare against something where we have a UDK in the team. Okay, let's see. Lock him out. Can we remove stuff? We did. Let's do the A3 again. Okay, he's not gonna do obviously too good against UDK. I forgot about that because he's wrong affinity. However, he did, he did kill everybody else. I wish I would have had what's her name, Duchess available so we can try and kill her. Let's see. No weak hit. Okay, still weak hit. The weak hits kill him. Obviously against Force Champions, he's not going to be the best. Okay, let's try and kill stuff again. Let's see, do we have enough damage to at least half health the Duchess? Let's see. Okay, he didn't land the Hex. So that's something that you want to keep in mind also, okay? And that's something that might make it tricky for him for a higher end arena, is the fact that if you're gonna need some accuracy for him to land the Hex, otherwise that A3 is not gonna do the maximum damage that he can possibly do. However, that A1 was strong. Okay, do keep in mind, the A3, you need to place that Hex yourself in order to get the maximum bonus. So if you place 4 Hexes, you're gonna get basically, what, 80% extra damage. I did mention it in the CC chat, I did give it as a feedback that one thing that maybe would make him a little bit more viable, not just be a decent DPS, would be to change the wording of his A3. I would make it so that, okay, before attacking places Hex debuff on all enemies for 2 turns, the damage inflicted by the skill increases by 20% for each Hex on each target, not debuff placed by him. That's how I would do it. Just make it for each Hex on each target, because that way you can just ignore his accuracy requirements, since he's pretty much a straight up nuker. Apart from the hex and debuff spread, you don't really care about accuracy in his kit. So I would just make it for each hex out there. Then you can use the same thing for Arena. You can use the same thing for Hydra. And speaking of Hydra, I just threw a team that's, you know, half free-to-play, half not so free-to-play. So just Duchess, Estrid, Skorid himself, Ugo, Molly, Royal Guard. This was a full auto team. I did not touch it at all. I just let it go. And he pretty much did 40 million damage, okay? Compared to Royal Guard, which has enemy max HP hits, that at 20, I think that's pretty solid. I think that's pretty good. Also keeping in mind that I think I also had Estrid with Hex, so she kind of took a little bit of the damage that he should have done. And I don't know, I feel like this is pretty good. What do you guys think? Let's say that, for example, maybe we take 10 million out of that damage, okay? Take 10 million out of that damage because the build I'm going to show is really strong. He still did 30 million damage. He's a good damage dealer. I'm not going to lie, he's a good damage dealer. If you're lacking, like, for example, if your best damage dealers are people like Royal Guards, like Husks, you should go for him. He's good for Hydra, like I showed you, good for Raze, can be a good arena nuker. So I'm still, you know what, I still think I'm going to go for him, even though I was like, debating, but I still think I'm gonna go for him, especially because, you know, fingers crossed, we're gonna have I really hope we're gonna have some sort of a Titan event, Path event, some sort of a way to be able to get an awakening for him. Because if you get an awakening, well, let me show you an example. If you go for somebody that have a 6-star, we're just gonna look till 5-star. 7500 HP, 750 attack, 600 defense, 1000 HP, 38% more crit damage. That's basic an amulet, okay? Almost a 6-star amulet that gives us 40. And then if you go to 5-star, he also gets some accuracy and resist, which means it's gonna be easier to build him with accuracy if you want to do that for his kit. You know what? Let me just check something. I have a feeling I did not leave the hex on the curse on Estrid. Okay, I did leave it. Okay, never mind. But still, the build that I had on him was a 6-piece Merciless, then 2-piece of Cruel. And I guess, you know what, if you don't have the 6-piece Merciless, if you can only do 4-piece, I would not go for it. You want the 6-piece, you have the Ignore Defense. If you cannot do that, go with Savage, go with Instinct, go with Lethal, whichever is your best damage dealing set that also ignores some defense. You know, check with the optimizer, see what they suggest, and then just go for that. I did give him pretty decent speed, okay? So let's say I lowered his speed by a lot more to get him more damage in a more relatable build. He would just about do the same, okay? He would do the same. Let's say 200 speed, I could get the same attack, crit damage in Savage, Lethal, or any other set. Then obviously he is fully skilled up. And then these are the masteries. I went with Helm Smasher on him, and then down the Supporchi, because, you know, he does have the Hex, and it does benefit. If he does land that, it gives the 80% extra damage in there, or like, you know, if it's 100%. So this is pretty much it, the Skorid showcase. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think this is enough? Do you think it's not enough to just be like, you know, a damage dealer and that's about it? Because that's pretty much what he is, a damage dealer that brings Hex. The debuff spread also, it's, you know, not something that is not the best. Maybe this could be reward. We're giving feedback. Hopefully they might, you know, change something. I'm really hoping for this one. I'm hoping they change this to increase his damage by 20% for each hex on each target. That's all. That's all I want to see. And then he's going to consistently do crazy damage on day 3, especially for Hydra, because from my point of view, you want to have more people that bring hex. For example, I would bring a Methrala in the team for the hex, and I would just build him full damage, ignore his accuracy, and then just see him shine with that crazy damage. But anyway, this is going to be it for today, guys. Thank you all for watching. As always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.